Day. Funky Souls. Today is a good day to make music. Any day is a good day to make music. I've heard. Well, well, well. What do we have here? I think I need to rewatch Boondocks. Amazing show. So is everything on? I believe so. So Easter is around the corner, huh? Oh, can't have that. That wasn't so good. Okay, that's enough. Guess the key. Surprise, surprise. What are we gonna take to noodle over this? I have a feeling. It could be some brass. Let's duplicate that one. This is gonna be trumpet. All right. Let's bring them back to unison again. Let's look at this quickly. Nothing to see here. I want this guitar to be on top. Piano, trombone, trumpet. Okay. A little bit of velocity sensitivity. Save the dark. Yeah. We're gonna create a return bus for the master. It's going to be master return. Master section. So let's see if we can find some melody to use. You know what would be really cool? If there was MIDI comp recording. Same as you can do comp recording and looping a section, and it's creating stacks on. Where's that? Don't need this file anymore. Delete. Control new. What reason suggestions? Reason Studios suggestions. What would be really dope would be MIDI comp recording. And then also for parallel channels, unfortunately, if you take the out of a parallel channel, not much. I just kind of got started, and then I thought I'll make a couple of notes on stuff that is the reason related, which I'd love to see implemented, maybe, hopefully, at some point. I hope Reason headquarters and or Lander is still interested in creating the best possible DAW that they can. I think they do. I've been always happy with Reason so far. Like, I think every DAW is cool, but this is just what I'm familiar with. But there's a thing. Yes, absolutely. Like, it is beyond ridiculous. And also, I do believe if you are, if you ever want to make the transition to maybe analog world, yes, it's not, of course, the same. You cannot break an input, but I think it does prepare you in some way for the analog world. It's not like you are just having drag down menus in connecting stuff. And also for teaching purposes, and there's always just like one way to plug a cable. I mean, like, not one way, but you cannot connect something that couldn't be connected. But it certainly helps to understand signal flow, because you just have to follow the string like a cat. You go from A to B to C to D, and that helps to visualize more complicated routing, I think. If I had to do this all with just looking at a drag down menu, yes, you can do it that way, but I think it's cumbersome. It's much more intuitive to just see, okay, I can hook this here, I can hook that there. But long story short, I wanted to take a note for parallel channels. And I'm not sure, as I'm born 86, I am not any kind of crazy real audio engineer, mixer, or mastering engineer. Like, I kind of started in the box and I'm pretty much confined to it. But what I've been thinking is, if they are not fixed on emulating it as realistic as possible, and I mean the SSL mixer, if you look at a mix channel, if you take a parallel channel, you get the pre-outs. And very, very often, I would very much love to not have the pre-out, but the post-out. In that case, either I will have to send the track to a new bus so the process signal gets there, or I have to jump through hoops a little bit, and that also does break something in the chain of the muting functionality. Another way to do it, if I don't want to create, yes, if you drag anything down, if we like say, if we dragged and dropped anything, let's say we're gonna drop an amp sim. It doesn't make any sense right now. If I don't hold anything, if I just get it out of the browser and drag and drop it, we can see that it will automatically connect. Another way to do this would be, which is also cool, if you hold down Shift, it does not connect. But when I hold down Shift now again, hold up, or Control, no, that was wrong. If you hold down Control Shift and drag the module back in, then it will automatically connect. And for some reason, I did a copy that I did not intend. But also what's cool is, say, I want to put this audio meter here to meter this track. This is also one of the tricks, I hate this word, one of the methods that I use if I don't want to create too many buses, so I have the post out, like the note that I'm gonna just take that note before I keep babbling. Parallel channels, ooh, I can't spell it seems. Channels, pre and post routing toggle. That would be so amazing, because it would save me from creating a couple of unnecessary things. If you hold down Shift and have a module, like if I drag this up now, I'm going to go to this other track, and it's not open now. If I hover, it should. While still holding down Shift and putting it here, I just put it here. What is interesting is, say, you have multiple effects. Say we have a couple of modulation things going on. We have this and we have that maybe. If I just want to quickly change the order of these, if I hold down Shift, come on, I selected too many. If I hold down Shift and drag and drop it, I can change the order. That means, like, I can go into playback and listen to my program while switching the chain or the order of the processing. It's kind of practical. Especially for experimenting. Maybe one time you want to listen to the distortion first and whatnot, or something else, and see how it will sound different. But yeah, the thing was the pre and post from the parallels, that would be so amazing. That would be really, really cool. And one functionality that I'd really, really love to see is something from Cubase too. It's not just MIDI comp recording. It's also MIDI step recording. So the MIDI step recording, especially if you are into orchestral music, or when you already know the note value that you're gonna do, say you're gonna do some 16s or whatnot, that you can just play every individual notes and it will be placed on the grid as is. It just keeps getting better, if you ask me. But there's still, like, say I'm not set yet on my other voice that I maybe want to record over this. what I used to do with the help of the MIDI out and a little program that's called Loop MIDI. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's a free program that handles MIDI data. But with these two, I could kind of make it so that it will automatically hit record all take at the end of the bar, so I can keep recording over and over and over. But it is not ideal, especially not for faster tempos, because you have to place an automation clip at the end, and it needs to be still have a certain length to trigger the alt take function. And if you're producing super fast stuff, which I don't, but long story short, MIDI comp recording should be implemented. It would be really nice. And also, yeah, that's nothing one would want to miss out on. I hope they can implement that at some point. Long story short, you didn't miss anything. I'm always doing the same thing. I'm a pretty boring dude. As I love to say, I'm a one-trick pony. I practice piano, a little bit of guitar, and if I can't help it, I go down the rabbit hole and try to practice and learn some sound design and audio engineering. Just made a post on Reddit, indie game devs, offering my skills and services for free to practice with some more of a confinement. Kind of like an artistic restriction exercise. Way too many notes, so unnecessary. I'm just collecting some ideas. Well, these ideas are certainly not new. I'm pretty much taking these changes from around midnight. What else is good in here? Everything. I mean, I speak about reason, not what I'm doing right now. Let's get Humana in here. Humana I do like a lot. Sound Iron makes some great products. They always have. This is going to be the choir. Let's satisfy my color coding OCD. Maybe we don't need to look at Cordy for a second. It's not that interesting. Oof, I lost track. I absolutely lost track because way back when you didn't have Reason as a subscription and whatnot, and you had to pretty much get anything individually, I remember that there was also a subscription. I don't know if you remember that one. I forgot what it was called, but there was a rec extension subscription where you could choose different models, like in a cafe, you could have small, medium, and large subscription, and based on the subscription amount, you could use a package of your choosing for some time and also rent to own options. Like, I don't even know which of all these things are stock and which are not. Obviously, the VSTs are all third party, but what comes from Reason itself, I don't even know Retactor, like, but like I still have, and I never use it actually. I still have Recycle. I paid full price still when it was already out years and years ago. I think it was still on Reason 5 when I got Recycle. I never use it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and I got the backline rig too because like I love all kinds of sounds, but probably where I'm most at home at is learning and practicing jazz piano. Lately, I'm falling more in love with guitar too, so I'm practicing some basic blues guitar. Well, pretty much I'm still trying to locate the blues scale on the neck and all sorts of keys. There's not too much happening there. But in the backline rig, let me see if I can still find that. Reason Studios backline rig. Then I can tell you what is from there. Two things from that are in here. This Mellotron emulation, Chambertron, is one rack extension that was in the backline rig. Do they still sell that? I don't think they do. I can't even find it, like, so funny. It's not even the first on the website. It doesn't appear first. No, I don't think they still have it. But the backline rig 2 was some more acoustic sounding instruments. I'm not really sure what's all in there because for a couple of years or since they started with Reason Plus subscription, I switched to the subscription. I'm not quite sure which was the last standalone version I've bought. I still have Reason 9 in hardcover sitting on a cupboard, but I'm not sure. Other rack extensions that I bought and that I actually use sometimes is Decimor and Devastator, which is multi-band compression and bit crushing, which is really, really good. The only downside to them is they are using up quite some DSP. Like if I just drag it into a project, I can see how the comp delay or delay compensation is jumping up quite significantly. It is doable to do this while producing and tracking, but I believe if you have an older machine, it serves one better to be used while mixing and not while handling live program. I think these soft tube reverbs and delay were also from the backline rig, which I like a lot. Often I use the spring on guitar and sometimes other things, mostly on guitar. And the tube delay is very good for vocals. I like that a lot. Like whenever, which is very rare, I am compelled to do vocals, be it singing or rapping, which happens even less. I'm not a rapper. Sometimes I like to write. But that has some good sounds. Yes, everything works. It's everything is compatible as far as I know. I think I could still, if I had them, open projects from Reason 5. Like, I mean, let's get a combinator in here. Let's get a combinator in here and I'll show you. And even like the super old and ancient half rig modules that you're familiar with. Where's my combinator? Okay. So say, now we have an empty combinator, right? Nothing in here, nothing crazy. Let's get a classical, good old fashioned Reason OG device. Let's get Thor. The poor polyphonic synthesizer. Let's flip the rack and open that up. Let's unhook this first. Let's go to utilities. Let's go to where is it? That's not there. Mixer. Look at this. Look at this old friend. Isn't that beautiful? Now we could create a combinator where, and also if I hold down shift, yeah, the sequencing just got a whole lot better, I think. Many people have been bitching about this sequencer, but I like it a lot. Like, you still have the block mode and whatnot, but I think navigating has become much more easy. Like, if I control and flip around with the mouse wheel, it enlarges horizontally or vertically. I can choose to be on snap on the grid. I could choose what kind of grid resolution I want. Usually I go by, it shall do it by the zoomed in resolution. So, and they added another feature. If you are on top of, when you move with your mouse over this line, like about where the numbers are, if you hold down, you can zoom in like that, which I think is good. Quantize is still there, but as I am kind of preparing myself to actually be a jazz musician and I love boom bop, I never quantize anything, nothing. I never quantize. The only thing that gets quantized is if I happen to program stuff and the quantization comes from the player devices. But if I play MIDI myself, before I quantize, which does not happen, I will be recording the same 3 notes a million times. I don't care. I'll do it as long as I think dynamics, articulation, and the pocket is right. I don't quantize. I think it takes the life out of everything. But on the other hand, I'm kind of doing pseudo mock-up analog jazz, blues, funk, soul, singer-songwriter, boom bop kind of stuff. So quantization is not my friend. And you also still have the regroove mixer. Like, we could do something funky. We could record an record an audio clip or play a guitar. Like, I could, like, say I have a groove in my head and I'm just gonna record a quick take on that. We can convert audio to MIDI and get the groove from there. Like, you could be beatboxing a groove. I'll show you. Let's create a block. Let's call this audio to MIDI, get groove. Oh my God. Do you, like, you remember before record, like, I mean, before Reason had the capability to actually natively record Wave, it was kind of a joke in its own right. It was a great DAW for sound design, but if you were handling Wave, I remember recording 30-second long clips of me singing into an NNXT, and then I had to edit that bitch. It was a pain. I'm still looking for some marbles I lost doing that. I'll tell you, that was a painful nightmare. That was so bad. Like, and now it's so easy. Like, if I wanted to do something like, but I want to show this first. My mind is jumpy. Also, let's get rid of this combinator. But say the regroove mixer is still amazing. We could record and do a boom bap, a beatbox kind of thing, and just do. Okay, nothing fancy. It's not supposed to be. And then we can get this and bounce audio clip to MIDI. And now we have this MIDI. It is defaulting to a subtractor whatever, but that's not what that is about. We just wanted to have the groove captured, so to speak. And we do have the timing. We have the velocity that got converted from our wave recording. And now we can do another conversion and say, I want to get this groove. If I just remember how. I barely ever use it. Or like, I know that it's there, but I don't really use it. But it could be cool. You could be beatboxing something and putting this MIDI onto your drum sampler and have it play back your desired drum sample that you want to have in that groove. And it will have the timing and the velocity, which I think is pretty dope. Or if you know that you can get your groove vocally better, if you're not a master instrumentalist or whatnot, or don't have a MIDI keyboard, that is also maybe a good way to rehumanize no, you sing like this clip, and this wave will be converted to a MIDI clip, depending on the timing and its signal. If it had been not just rhythmically, we could look into the vocal edit. And there we also do see that it also got some pitches, which is somewhat odd because I thought I was kind of pretty straight out flat, like I was not considering pitch or whatnot. But you could also make an audio recording. Say you are just got out of the shower, you didn't even boot your computer, and you sing into your phone a little melody, motive, whatnot. And then you can drag that into Reason. And from there, you can convert your wave recording, your song sketch, your idea sketch. You can convert that wave into a MIDI clip. And from that MIDI clip, you can move on. Like we have converted this ba-ba-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-dup into this. Of course, it sounds horrible. but it's not meant to be applied by subtractor. We just wanted this to get the MIDI data. Let me find get groove from clip, and then we can add that user groove to the bank. And if we had drums in here, then we could use the regroove mixer to put it on that. Where is this thing? How do I do that again? Ah, yeah, there it is. I'm sorry, I'm blind. Maybe I should put on glasses. Get groove from clip. Now we have a groove from this clip. And if we go to our groove mixer, we can see that we have our user groove right there. And if we have something maybe super rigid, then we can do it like that. Or we could sing a melody, or try to sing a melody, and get that as a starting point, maybe for our production. I haven't really used my voice too much today. I've been chugging coffee and smoking cigarettes, and I'm certainly not a trained vocalist. But if I were to sing something somewhat decent with pitches, we could also then just get those and put it on our instrument that we want it to play from. Or then start building chords on top of that and building harmonies. Like, there are so many ways, way too many ways. That's a blessing and a curse. The problem is not having enough tools. The problem is having too many tools and too many choices. Yes, you should. And maybe you want to hurry up with that, because if I'm not mistaken, there is still. Do you know what kind of machine I'm running? Like, every producer would cry tears or start panicking. I have an Asian machine that I didn't even configure myself this time. And this time is like 5 or 7 years ago. This machine is on the verge of collapse. Reason is very, very performative. You can run Reason on a toaster. As long as you're not throwing a gazillion tracks with very DSP hungry processing at it, if you're not putting a physical reverb on it, on every track, then you should do fine. You know, this shouldn't be a problem. The bottleneck is probably not your machine. I mean, a better machine is always better, but I I doubt that your machine is much worse. Yeah, see, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and sometimes I let these templates bloat up more than they need to, and it's still okay. At the same time, I have OBS running and I'm streaming. Yada yada. There is external media handling because I'm on a damn Windows machine and it doesn't really support sharing data like that. That's why I have to jump through hoops and use loop MIDI so I can share MIDI data across application. And this actually does create significant issues for me sometimes. If the project gets too big, I have to turn off Cordy and loop MIDI because I'll get bottlenecked by the MIDI handling. I don't know if it's 10 years, but it's like 7 or 5. I lost track. I lost track from when it is. It's old enough, but it's what I have, it's what I use. I have no right to complain about anything. use what you got. It ain't the tool, but how you use it. And also on another level, it is good that I don't have the best machine, because if I had a killer machine, I probably would be creating projects that can't be navigated anymore. Like, it's really easy to create 128 tracks if you could. I don't know from when it is. You can look again. It is a, what is it called again? It is a, let's look at this PC. It's an i5 700. When was it from? When did they make them? Intel i5 7500. When did they make this architecture? I have no idea. Yeah, it's from 17, as you said. Like I always say, I'm not a computer super user. I just know what I need to know to kind of do what I think I need doing or want to do. And as soon as I have fixed my issue, I focus on music and not technology. Technology is most of the time just a means to get, but I'm certainly not a super user or anything. I'm happy every time I can just find the power switch on my machine. I'm certainly not the best musician either. Like, I'm a self-taught jazz pianist, so yeah. But I know this is my calling, and I'm not willing to do anything else unless I'm threatened by homelessness or famine. And as I live in Germany, that's unlikely to occur very soon, I hope. So I got no complaints. Well, I might do, but they're not justified. If you ask me, music is the best thing that could have ever happened to us humans. It is kind of like the closest thing to telepathy that we have. Maybe moving picture is also in the same ballpark, or other arts, but well, music is the medium that I spent my time with, and that I know some stuff about. I don't know too much about visual arts, though I'm interested and I can appreciate all kinds of arts. Like, literature was my first love, but I've come to appreciate music so much more as it's more immediate. Language and semantics is a very complicated issue. First, you need to know really what you want to say. There are things that can't be said ever. There's no term for it. Feelings in between. It's not that you could express all of that with music, but you are freed from the confinement of a dictionary. And also, even if everybody had the same knowledge of on vocab, which is one of the biggest problem anyway, the connotation, maybe we all know on paper what a word means, but depending on the connotation someone has through their lived experience with it, the semantics shift. And if I play a chord, I don't overanalyze what it is exactly. I just play that chord, and if it feels right, I'll play that chord. With words, you can go down the semantic circle jerk forever, contemplating about, is this the right way I said this? And so on and so on. It never ends. It's very cumbersome. And also to me, on a fundamental level, music does not need to be interpreted like language. It is a language in its own right, absolutely. The best language, I think. But it is. Now that's Keyscape. While Reason has very good key sounds too, and I think I even bought Reason pianos way back. Where is it? Well, let me see. Where is it? There it is. Reason pianos is also amazing. Same goes for Radical Keys or Radical Piano. What is plunger mute? And thank you, sir. I tried to do my very best. But like, I'm not confined to jazz is the music that I want to do and practice the most because at some point I want to join or start a jazz band. It's okay. I mean, it's a mellotron. Like, I have 2 octaves, and it is okay if it's in the right range, I think. And also, I play terribly. I happen to. Yeah, it is like Keyscape is a huge and great sound library. I think Keyscape costs more than Reason. I don't know, it was between 300 and 400 euros. It is crazy well recorded. It has round robin. This is only a mellotron. It has 2 octaves. No round robin, no nothing. And if I'm not writing the automation wheel, especially for dynamics, it's just flat. And yeah, it would need to be orchestrated. I often have the bad habit of falling. I mean, it is with all really interesting and expressive physical instruments. The amount of expression is so vast. If you sing strings, especially fretless strings, which is most strings, I think, or all strings, or also guitar, it is much harder to make a somewhat realistic emulation of trumpet, brass, because even if you are a master guitarist, you don't always have the exact same touch on the instrument. You're slightly on the fret, over the fret. All these minute changes contribute to a more diverse and less static, sterile sound, creating interest. A piano is or key instruments in general are instruments that can be modeled pretty convincingly. You can't do all that much with a piano. You can depress a note. Sorry, that's the wrong instrument. And let go. You can have terrible technique and produce an okay tone. Yes, of course, if you are Howard Horowitz, you can get some different sounds out of a piano. But the range of the diversity in timbre is really, really, really restricted. If you just have a really crappy guitar, you can get infinite tones out of that guitar. But on piano, maybe you can make super complex chords and whatnot. But the actual timbre of the tone is almost identical. You can play a note, loud or soft. It doesn't matter what kind of technique you have. This tone will almost be the same. Yes, if you have or hammer it, you can, or if you play super staccato, sometimes you can create on a physical instrument, you can create a little variety. But unless you do prepped piano, you can do a tremolo on a physical piano. You can do pitch bend, not without obstacles. You can, but on a guitar, you're not fretting it right. It sounds completely different. You mute a string by accident. You're on the fret, over the fret. You play tremolo. There's so much in there. Brass, the same. I think there's maybe not an instrument that is as close or expressive to the human voice than compared to brass. And I think it is really related to one another. You are playing brass straight through your throat. The control and dynamics. I mean, if you're not trained brass player, you won't even get a sound out of a mouthpiece. I remember 20 years back at a friend's place who played trumpet. I couldn't even produce a tone. All I got out of it was a fart and spit. It was like in a cartoon. But piano is easy compared to that. And I'm not a computer scientist, but just thinking about it in general, to make a somewhat convincing I mean, how many samples would you have to record to make convincing brass? There are some good libraries. Like 3 or 4 months ago, I was trialing Native Instrument Essentials, but I stopped that like 1 or 2 months before they filed bankruptcy because it was not worth for me to pay. Thank you, sir. I tried my very best. This is my one mission, actually. I often love to joke. Everything else is just a distraction, or I'm taking a break from actually playing the piano. That's actually how I got Reason. I had a super old Casio keyboard, and to stay motivated, I had exhausted that instrument, and I needed better sounding sound. And a friend of mine who was more in technology and had used Reason before, he said, "Hey, I know the software. It has okay sounds. Maybe you can hook your keyboard to Reason. I'll show you and help you with the setup, and then you have better sound library." And I didn't look back since. And now this room, well, I'll show you my room. I think it's a huge understatement to say that I'm interested in music. That's what's up. No, I'm just a self-taught piano butcher. At the moment, the Muse is still angry with me for killing Monk's master composition around midnight. I've been stuck in this standard for a very long time. I also don't have repertoire. Like, I'm self-taught. At the first years, I only played by ear. Now, meanwhile, I know how to construct chords and scales because all I ever did was practice scales in all kinds of keys. I can read slow, but I can't sight read. And as I do jazz, it is pretty much similar to reading guitar tabs. You just look at a chord symbol, and if you know how to construct the chord from that chord symbol, like I'm glancing over to the other piano, I see real book sits there on the stand. Round midnight is open. The first chord says E flat minor over D, and then with the help also of Cordy, I kind of started learning music theory in reverse. And then I'm like, okay, interesting. How do they do this? I can construct a minor triad. I start on the root. I go up a minor third. I take the perfect fifths. What does a slash mean? Oh, okay, slash means add that note to the bottom of your chord. Interesting. Okay, cool. Then I see, what the hell is that? E flat minor major 7? What the fuck is that? It is an inversion of this chord. Okay, good. And so on and so on. But I'm contemplating actually to study jazz or instrumental pedagogy at my university. Exactly. And also, on another note, not only does it tell the notes, it gives the spelling. And because what is up with these notes? Sorry. And as it is, let me go back to reason. It also shows fretboard notation if it can be displayed or played or fretted. And I mean, I can't even read guitar tabs, which is funny. No, but if it's possible to fret that chord, then chordy can also show you. I can also make chordy bigger, and I shouldn't spend too much time playing on these tiny ass keys because they are only half weight. And yeah, and also, I'm not a content creator. I'm a musician. I kind of stream as a coincidence. First, to have an archive for myself, to connect with other people in this creative domain and digital media, and to share what I learn while I'm learning it. And that is maybe the best value for anyone, if there's any value at all, from this stream. Like, I'm not a master producer. I barely ever finish a 4-bar loop because I can't be bothered most of the time. What I care about is chasing these changes. There are a couple of links in the descriptions, and still, I wanted to go back to, if you're contemplating this, which I highly encourage you to do, I think it is the greatest hobby that you could possibly have in life, to do music. Like, I'm not a professional musician. I try to get there, and I certainly don't plan on getting rich. I always love to say, all I want to do is play piano and plant some trees. That's it. I don't want richness. I don't want nothing. I certainly don't want to be famous. The only reason why I'm streaming is not because I seek attention. I just want to do and practice as much as possible. And I love to joke that it is much harder to procrastinate or pick your nose in public. And as I don't get around much anymore, I used to be a chef for more than a decade, but I burned out and get some other life issues. So I'm kind of unemployed for quite some time now, more time than I care to admit. And all I do is music and sound. Most of the time, it's this piano or that piano or that piano. Sometimes guitar when I'm tired of piano. Let me check for that recent sale. But where I wanted to arrive at, I also love sound in general. I want to get into sound design more deeply and be more prolific about it. But often, in the absence of a real creative vision, I would like to produce or create audio assets for other people, be it moving picture or original soundtracks and compositions for video games. Just today, I made a post in the indie game developer subreddit offering my time and services for free for all the other broke artists that have visions, and the emergence from synergy that comes from that. Because if someone says, hey, I think you could maybe help me create a soundtrack for the video game that I'm developing, or write a score for my moving picture project. I'm studying videography and whatnot. Then I'd gladly jump in there if I think the project is cool and do that for free just to practice. And because creativity needs restriction, you cannot do everything all at once. It needs to serve a means. No, I have nothing. I have a little band cap and this little stream, and that's good enough for now. But let me see, for the recent summer sale, because everything I do is open source. If you look at the links in the description from my channel, the Bandcamp is all Creative Commons. I don't care for attribution. The only thing I don't, it's downloadable in 48 kilohertz, 24-bit, undithered. It can be used commercially. Like really, I couldn't care less what anyone does with that. It's just there to be used. That's also why I'm sharing notes. I didn't create this. I didn't invent this. I also have a really strong notion of the whole Platonic idea of I don't invent a melody. I find the melody. And especially now when I'm practicing like something like around midnight, I certainly didn't invent any of this, even if there's, of course, an improvisation part to it. But to me, all of this is implied. I'm just trying to listen to the muse better and minimize distraction and try to channel that. But it's not my work, as to say. All that. All that, and that was pretty terribly played. All that has been there before. Did I compose this? No, the universe did. I'm just playing it. That's how I feel anyways. You and good luck. If you jump at it now, you can get a year-long subscription of Reason Plus, everything included, for $100 if you pay annually. If you go to monthly, it would be $15.99. Right now, I'm paying. Hold up. Am I stupid or something? I think I'm paying $20. I'm paying $5 too much, and I still need to get reason to pay for my subscription. I'm tired of paying. Yeah, or $19.99. Like that 1 cent is not gonna do much difference, does it? Yeah, and for me it's euros. Or is it? No, yeah, yeah, it's euros. For me, it's euros. Like you can see right there, bam. And I think I'm paying 20 euros. I should maybe click on that to reduce the cost. I'm really not that smart. But yeah, if you have disposable funds, I'd strongly encourage you to take this annual offer. No, no, no. It's all good, man. Sooner or later, Reason Studios is going to pay my channel, or at least pay for my subscription. I need them to give me a lifetime access to all Reason projects. If you click through my channel, Reason is the DAW that I use exclusively, and everything is free. I'm like absolutely open source. All the project files, all the high quality music rendered, which is not a lot, but if you do have Reason, I usually add the project files, the Reason project files, to this Google Drive, and then you kind of have really infinite access. Like there is infinite MIDI, at least. There's enough of wave. There's projects on projects that I couldn't care to open myself, but maybe someone else does, you know? Because very often I'm already I'm already done. So if you think about getting back into Reason, I'm on every day, often multiple times. Like I said, this is my calling. Quite some time ago, for various reasons, but so that I don't forget, I got this tattoo, which is a cornflower entangled with a treble clef. So in case that I forget, I can just look down at my arm to be reminded of what I'm here for. That sounds a little bit full of myself, but I got really late into, I always loved music and art, but I never saw that I was going to try to be a musician or anything in that realm. I've always loved blues, jazz, kind of raised most of my use on boom bop. But for quite some time now, the last 10 years, every day I know this is my cosmic mission. This is my duty. If I do something else, I'm doing something wrong. But you know what? I've been talking way too long. I should refill my coffee and then come back refreshed. I'll say it was a pleasure. Get that Reason thing. Test it for months, but if you have disposable income, I would recommend you save some money because you won't regret it. As an old-time Reason gang, do get either 3 months or annual, because like $101 is kind of like theft to have Reason for a year and everything that's in there. Like it is infinite. All right. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. May the Muse be with you. Just groove it and stay funky. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Catch you later. Probably in an hour or so. Peace. I talk too damn much. But I love this shit. All right. Peace. And I need to stop cursing. That doesn't help anyone. Okay. Yeah, I think it's worth every penny. But I need to see that I maybe click on that link too. So I'm paying $5 less. Because if I'm not clicking on that summer sale deal, and as long as I cannot get Reason headquarters to pay for this music, audio engineering, sound design, music theory, open source self-help study group. I need to get the best price I can until I can convince them to give me an education license or whatever. Like, I don't want money from them. I don't want to be sponsored for them, but I certainly want them to pay for reason for me for as long as I breathe. Because I think as a consequence, I'm kind of advertising for them just because I appreciate their product. Anyway, peace.